and welcome to the Quincy Access Television Studios. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you for joining us for Good Deeds, your Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. This program informs you about activities at the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, and we do have the Registrar of Deeds here in Norfolk County. That would be Bill O'Donnell. He has joined us once again. Bill, welcome.
Well, Mark, thank you, and thanks for having me. And yes, the Registry of Deeds, we're located in Dedham. It's an arm of government sometimes people don't really know a lot about, but when you think about it, the records at the Registry of Deeds and around the Registry of Deeds around the Massachusetts, across Massachusetts, deal with the biggest asset most of us have, our homes. You know, the land records in these registries authenticate the legal title to property. And in Norfolk County, our records, and they're available online, www.norfolkdeeds.org. They're there for people to view and to do research, whether it's professionally as lawyers and title examiners and engineers use the registry website, or a lot of people are using it for genealogical and historical research. I know a big part of the show is statistics, but I think it's always good to know that, you know, behind the statistics are people buying homes, people refinancing because of good things, whether they're college education or a wedding. And so we try to bring the statistics of what's going on here in Norfolk County. And I think it's really important to keep in mind that on March 10th, 2020, Governor Baker declared a COVID emergency. And ever since that, and we were grateful that Governor Baker actually deemed the registry work as essential. So the Norfolk Registry has been open and operational every workday since that declaration on March 10th, 2020. And, you know, that was 2020. But even into 2021, the Norfolk Registry was tremendously busy. Over 205,000 land record documents were recorded, and over $82 million was collected. Now, a lot of the monies are through fees, are through deeds excise. Some of the money is for Community Preservation Act that's set by the state legislature. But that money that gets collected, and in Norfolk County, 19 out of the 28 communities have Community Preservation Act. They adopted it, and they use that money to fund worthwhile projects in their communities. So at the registry, it was very busy, not only for recording documents, but also recording the recording fees, and they get used locally. Even the deeds excise that we sent to the state, most of that $82 million gets sent to the state. It comes back in the form of local aid or social service programs or assistance with the schools and fire and public safety, police. So there's a lot of monies that come back, a lot of program monies come back with the revenues that get collected at the registry. So I've said how busy things were, and here we are. We have to talk about the first quarter, and the first quarter is January, February, and March of 2022, and those numbers are down. And typically, those months are slow. It's the winter months, but this quarter, the numbers are certainly down from last year, from 2021. And you know, I always point to the total documents recorded. In 2021, first quarter, it was 50,935 documents. This quarter, 2022, again, January, February, March, it was 34,315. That's down almost 17,000 documents, or 33%. So you can see a drop. And in mortgages, that's another component of documents. There was 14,001 mortgages recorded in the first year, in last year, first quarter, to 6,664. That's down over 7,300 mortgage filings. And again, that's 52%. That's a pretty big drop. Deeds were down first quarter in 2021, 2,188. 2,028 in the first quarter 2022, and so that's down roughly 7%. So you can see it, you know, it's kind of slowing down. We'll have to see, because usually April, May, June, things pick up the spring season as far as sales. Mortgages, I would point out, in March did pick up a little, and they did pick up a little because I think interest rates are going up, which of course means people usually aren't refinancing, but there was an uptick because maybe people are thinking, hey, the interest rates are going to go up higher. I better jump in because I have that person going to college education, getting a college education. I want to stay in my house and maybe do an addition. Maybe they have some other expense they're using the house through a refinance to pay for. So we did see the numbers go up, and I kind of attributed it of folks trying to beat the interest rates, which are starting to creep up. One stat in Norfolk County that did remain vibrant, and again, it's commercial and residential. In Norfolk County, we can track the sales, commercial and residential. The average sale price, commercial and residential, in the first quarter of 2021 was $911,274. In this same quarter, 2022, it was $1,261,081. Now that's almost a $350,000 increase, or 38%. Now again, it combines commercial and residential, and I want to point out, I did note that in March there were 4 pretty big commercial sales, March of 2022, which 4 separate commercial sales that went over like for over $200 million, each. So that's pretty sizable. Things are, we got to see. Things seem to be slowing down, and that's something to be aware of. One thing that went up, unfortunately, and I think we do a great public service here, and I applaud the programming. Sometimes people struggle, and when things were going good, the foreclosure numbers were low. But even if it's one person, that one person's struggling. And we have a couple of agencies in Norfolk County, and no matter where you live, you should reach out. One is NeighborWorks Housing Solutions, and the other is the Quincy Community Action Programs. And even though it says Quincy, they've committed to help people across Norfolk County who might be struggling with foreclosure. And I just point out that the foreclosure deeds, which, and again, it may not sound like a lot, that's the end of the process, that someone got foreclosed and the bank finally, the lender that foreclosed recorded it. There was 6 in the first quarter of 2021, which wasn't a lot, but it was 20 this quarter. And the notices, which is the first part of the foreclosure process, you get a notice. And I would suggest, if you do get a notice, reach out to these nonprofit groups. They're on our website, www.norfolkdeeds.org. And we also have contact information with Attorney General Maura Healey. She has resources that you can connect with through our website that try to help people. So if you're getting a notice to foreclose, doesn't mean they're going to foreclose on you, but it means they filed a lawsuit. And by law, it's the only involvement we have at the registry with foreclosures. By law, they have to file a notice to foreclose, in the community where the foreclosure is taking place. So notices of foreclosure in the first quarter of 2021, January, February, March, were 31. The first quarter in 2022, they were 56. That's up 25 or 81%. So that's not a good number to see going up, and we will continue to monitor it. But my suggestion is go out and get the help you need. And a lot of times, they're not just helping you with the legal process. We always mention they're giving guidance. They're trying to help you get control of your credit card debt or see what's going on with your expenses. And that's what I like about these groups. There's an educational component that hopefully assists people.
What, as you were comparing numbers from last year, same quarter, to this year, interest rates obviously a factor, but why do you think there was such a difference?
Well, I think a big part of it was interest rates. And, because interest rates are going up, it just makes it harder. Even when interest rates were low, the prices. So I think it's the price point. Anecdotally, there's still competition, and you can see it with that price level. And we hear it from brokers that, Norfolk County is a desirable place. There's a lot of desirable communities in Norfolk County, and we're still hearing from brokers that, houses are moving, and there is demand. And sometimes with that demand, people have to put a higher deposit or waive inspections and, waive mortgage contingency requirements. So why I think it's going down is I think you could see the deeds drop down a little, and that could be expected. It's January, February, and March. These aren't the vibrant months of sales. But a big part of our recordings are the mortgages or refinancing, and I don't envision that number to be, reversing, because the interest rates by all, because we got to look at the national economy and look what's going on with gas prices and trying to get a handle on inflation. Interest rates are going up, and I think that's what's driving sort of the activity down, less activity at the registry.
You had mentioned at the beginning of the program, and I know you wrote an article about the importance of social media and the importance that plays in or at the registry.
Yes, and some people thought we shouldn't do it, but when I first became register, they didn't have internet land record research. I mean, really, the internet back in 2002 wasn't as vibrant. Some government agencies didn't even have websites. So a lot of the things that have taken place since 2002 have been driven by technology, and there's been a lot of changes. And one of the things is social media. I remember even people saying, well, why is a government agency doing social media? Well, that's a communication tool. And we try to get the statistics out to people, but for instance, people should consider having a homestead. When you're a principal your principal residence, whether it's a home or a condo, you have a right to declare an estate a homestead. The state legislature, your state legislators have written a homestead protection in. So to use social media to kind of let people know, and over time you see, even in slow times, homesteads being recorded because you're getting the word out. And some of the things are fun. I know, again, kudos to Quincy Access Television, yourself. We've done some fun pieces, whether it's but educational pieces, whether it's on Black History Month in February, or women in Norfolk County in March, or just the presidents. 4 presidents were born in Norfolk County on President's Day. The social media is a way to get out good substantive information, whether it's foreclosure assistance, good substantive information, whether it's protecting your house and getting a foreclosure recorded. Good substantive information that sometimes there are things going on at the registry that we need public engagement to help us do the job, but also some fun stuff. And also it helps when we do, for instance, we've done for years a food drive in November and December, and using social media has helped make that successful. We've had a long time relationship with the United States Marine Corps Reserves with the Toys for Tots. And with other groups, inner city weightlifting that uses our Suits for Success, that uses, that helps inner city people, get some suits and things for interviews. And so we still collect not just suits, but any clothing, women's clothing, men's clothing. So social media has helped us do some of that philanthropic aspect that we try to do that at the registry.
I do want to remind folks that, again, we are recording this program on April 7th. So top in the news, in the registry, has been the Chief Financial Officer. So talk about that from previous programs. People will know that there's a lot going on, and there's a reason, you believe, for the position to stay as is.
Right, and again, it's the title, and again, it goes back to 2002. It's the Registry Chief Information Officer, and to people that maybe not as familiar with technology, it's sort of the head of our department, and they're sort of big picture thinkers. Since 2002, in my 20 years, I've only had 2, and one retired, and we went to hire a permanent Registry Chief Information Officer that was funded and had been approved not only a month before, and it got voted down on June 30th, 2021. And the reason why that position is important is the IT department at the registry, it's a 2-person department. Now, I've been here 20 years. I'm getting, I'm gray here and getting old. But you know what? Register Barry Hannon, he was the register in the 70s. He had an IT department that was supported. Paul Harold, my predecessor, who had a vision of a modern registry that we've put in and unfortunately passed away, he had a registry IT department. So we've always had, for 35 years at Norfolk County, an on-site direct report in the budget registry chief information officer, as well as who's big picture thinker, but also fixes the computers. And our chief information officers, they do a lot. They do the substantive thinking that you need from a chief information officer. And you might say, well, on what? Well, think about the records. We just talked about statistics. People's records, the homes that people own, depend on the records. The legal title to people's homes are authenticated by the records at the registry. And I'm worried that if we don't have an IT presence that's been there for 35 years, you could have cybersecurity intrusions on people's records. And you're jeopardizing, everybody has a say in this. And I hope people realize, wait a minute, this could affect the records to my home. Never mind what's going on. We mentioned we collected $82 million, and some of that money goes back to the town. You are a target for cybersecurity risk. You are a target for ransomware. And not to have, it's not a huge department. It's only a couple of people. And it's been there for 35 years. So not to have that, to me, it started not appointing the registry chief information officer, and now we don't have one. I mean, there was a temporary one, and the temporary one, and it only came about because we filed a lawsuit. He resigned. His resignation in January, he said, unfortunately, with my current role being temporary and providing limited benefits, it brought a tremendous amount of stress and uncertainty to myself and my family, which is the primary reason I chose to look for and accept employment elsewhere. I appreciate the opportunity. I've enjoyed working for the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds for the last 5 months. The support and personal involvement you've provided me has helped my career immensely. But what happened is, on June 30th to August 9th, we didn't have one, and we had to file suit. And this person didn't even want to take the job because it was temporary. Did take it, and you could see in January, left. And now we just presented another chief information officer for permanent. No one wants to take a temporary job, and it wasn't voted on. So they're putting it into the budget process, and to everyone out there, think about it. Is it going to be more technology or less? And the registry has been on the forefront of modernization initiatives, and we've done it through technology. And I just want to read, a lot of letters have gone out, and we appreciate the support. But here's somebody that I'll read this letter. It was to the county commissioners from Tim Quirk, the president of Quirk Associates. By way of introduction, my name is Tim Quirk, and I am the founder and president of Quirk Associates, a title examination firm. Quirk Associates is headquartered in Dedham and has been examining titles across Massachusetts since 1987. Given our history and breadth of services across Massachusetts, we've had the opportunity to work with every county in their respective digital record system. For at least the past 20 years, we have always considered Norfolk County to be the best-run registry in the state. The online services they provide are consistent, reliable, always available, fast, and accurate. This is not the case in many registries. In other counties, we experience extremely slow retrieval time and shutdowns for long periods of time during the day. I believe this difference between the Norfolk experience and other counties and other registries is directly attributable to the dedicated on-site registry IT department. My company and its clients rely heavily on the quality and availability of the online records. The services we provide are vital to the proper flow of real estate transactions conducted by the constituents of Norfolk County. For example, consider the impact to the average home buyer when a transaction can't close because we can't access the registry records. I fear that without the on-site registry IT department and its permanent registry CIO, Norfolk County will see a degradation of service that we experience in other counties. As such, as a critical user of the registry information, I respectfully request that you maintain these resources at the Norfolk Registry. Sincerely yours, Timothy F. Quirk. And the reason I bring that, that's from the users, and other people use it, the assessors use it, but also it can't be about costs. It can't be. The registry has dedicated revenues. We have monies in our budget to pay. As I said, it's a small department. And this small department, when it was evaluated, they said they're doing a great job with minimal staff. And think about it. We have electronic recording. You can look back at all our records back to 1793. We did a transcription project which transcribed every handwritten document, over 450,000, from 1793 to 1900. And the reason why I say it's not about money, this goes back to June of 2021. We put the registry chief information officer up, and it was voted down 2-1. And that bad decision, I thought it was a bad decision. I don't understand it. There's too many possible bad outcomes not having an on-site IT department. And the reason I'm bringing up the money, in June, the same time I went for a registry CIO, the county commissioners, the county director applied for a $123,000 job and has gotten some raises that I don't know if they've been put in the budget, but it's retroactive to January of 2022. He's making $138,000. My dad climbed poles for the Boston Edison, a member of Local 369. He would love a $15,000 raise in 9 months. So don't tell me it's about money. Not when you've also handed out 3 people getting $10,000 raises and someone who's only been there 3 years getting a $20,000 raise. So it's not about money if you're handing out money like that to other departments in other areas. I am advocating on behalf of the registry users, and this is a big issue, and it's coming to a head. There's supposed to be a vote in May. They've put it into the budget process for whatever reason, and we need to get all the communities in Norfolk County, there's 28 of them, to tell the representatives to their Norfolk County Advisory Board. Every town has a representative that's appointed by either the selectmen, the town councils in Franklin and Randolph, or the 3 mayors that are in Norfolk County, to tell them to get commitments that they support to keep the registry IT department. And it's only 2 people, led by a registry chief information officer. Keep it on site, keep it as a direct report, keep it in the registry budget so that we can continue to do the good things at the registry. But more importantly, there's too many bad things that can happen. In this day and age, not having an on-site IT department, it's just not a good public policy decision.
Were the commissioners working from recommendations from a report?
Well, there was a report. The first report was the Abrams report, and my issue on that is we had no say in the selection of that vendor. We had no say that they picked Plymouth County and Bristol County as the benchmarks, and both the registries in those departments, in those counties, have on-site registry IT departments. So as far as I'm concerned, that should have ended it. You chose the benchmarks of Plymouth and Bristol, and they have it. So now, no matter what they say, or no matter what changes are coming, or no matter how you spin it, nowhere else did you look. Once that report came in, that was it. It was Plymouth and Bristol you were compared to, and they didn't do anything. Now, they're going, I don't know what they're trying to do, but all I know is forget the consultants. I go by the registry users. I go by my 20 years as a register. Never mind, I had a first assistant registrar of deeds who's still there. We still have him working, but he's been there since 1987. And what about experience? What about things like that? So, these consultants who might get, they're hired guns as far as I'm concerned and get paid. But all I know is the consultant that came out in the fall, they had 13 months to look at it. And that consultant, he found, he made a mistake. He first said they didn't have an IT department, and the registers in Plymouth and Bristol were not happy, pointed it out. So we got that mistaken conclusion changed, and to me, that changes everything.
So you would think that the outcome would have changed?
Well, the outcome should have changed, because you pick these benchmark counties. You pick Plymouth and Bristol. They have on-site registry IT staff. They know how crucial it is. They wrote to the consultant how essential it is, so that should have ended it. Why should Norfolk County have anything less than Bristol and Plymouth? And you hear from, this is just one letter from somebody, Norfolk County has a very good reputation, and I can't stand by and watch mismanaged decisions or questionable decisions affect And it's not about me. It's about the homeowners. Your title's getting affected. It's about monies that get collected that go back to the towns. It's about assessors getting their records. So it's really about the quality of service that people in Norfolk County have gotten because of technology in the IT department. It's going to be compromised. Never mind what's going on. I mean, and I've been saying this since June, but look, there's a war going on. We're getting notices from the White House, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts saying, be on guard for, cybersecurity attacks. So it's only shows the need for an IT department.
Which actually leads me to the last bit I'd like to discuss, and that's a service called the Consumer Notification Service. I believe it's essential.
Yes, and again, at the Consumer Notification Service, it's not there in all registries. I know a lot of the registers and the Secretary of State are working to get consumer notification in all the registries. There's 21 across the Commonwealth. But Norfolk County was one of the first to do it. You can sign up, and all you do is get an email. And what's the Consumer Notification Service? There's a lot of fraud going on. So I've signed up myself. The FBI says the fastest growing crime is property fraud, deed fraud, mortgage fraud. So what happens is anything recorded at the Norfolk Registry of Deeds, an email goes out. So I get, I'm William P. O'Donnell. I get a notice, William J. O'Donnell. I look it up. It's not me. There might be a time I might get a notice and, wait a minute, that's the deed to my house. I didn't sign that. That's a mortgage on my house. I didn't sign that. We haven't prevented the fraud, but you can get on it right away. And you can just watch television. You see Newt Gingrich on all the time talking with his FBI agents that are retired saying, hey, you better watch out. People are stealing your properties and they have the criminal doing it. It's coming. And know why we have a Consumer Notification Service and we're one of the first registries to do it? Because we had an on-site IT department. As someone running the registry, you try to implement a vision, but it's like there's no I in team. I need a team. And the IT people are a key part of the team. So this Consumer Notification Service, which you can sign up with, go on our website, it gives you a notice, and hopefully you'll never need it, but if you do, we have links to the law enforcement authorities. You may want to contact an attorney because someone's trying to steal your property. And the good news is, if you're not good on the computer, call our customer service center, 781-461-6101, and they can help you, through it if you get some type of email like that. But it's worth signing up, even if you're not the most technologically good on the computer. You really should take steps to protect your property, especially with what's going on in the world today.
Absolutely. I want to thank you. Believe it or not, we are at the end of the program, but a lot of information. Again, unfortunately, half the program was dedicated to something that should not be an issue, but has become an issue. Thank you for the stats. Folks throughout Norfolk County will get a sense of how that's all played out over the first quarter of 2022. So we will have you back at a different day to talk more about the Registry of Deeds.
Thank you, and thank you very much for everyone taking the time to watch the show, and it's been a pleasure, and it's a privilege to serve as Register of Deeds.
And once again, we thank everyone out there in Norfolk County, all the access centers that do run this particular program. We thank you for airing this. And the other thing I would like to leave you with is please support your community's local access television station. Thank you.